It's still obviously quite confusing because most people don't really have any definitive definition. But there is a prevalent, maybe the most prevalent view in the Western world on what a relationship is, or maybe more specifically, why should two people be attracted to each other and ready to commit to each other and build a home and a family. So again, I want to qualify. By no means is this an exhaustive discussion on every variation of the theories, but it's one good theory. It's a pretty predominant one. And I'll contrast that with what we'll call the Torah theory. And I'm not here to make a case for one or the other. I think it'll be pretty obvious what resonates. So the first model, I'll call it the Darwinian Freudian model. And we'll do it through the lens of a philosopher known as Schopenhauer. And what I'm going to say now will sound to you a little exaggerated, but it's not. You can look it up. And Schopenhauer writes, based on the theories of evolution, is this. The prevailing and the most powerful driving force in life, in every species of life, whether it's the vegetable world, the vegetation, the animal kingdom, or the human, is one word. The perpetuation of the species. Perpetuation. Because the cardinal rule of existence, sometimes called survival of the fittest, is that the species must perpetuate. If it doesn't perpetuate, it dies. That drives everything. And I'm sure you've read, you can read today in newspaper accounts, in articles, academic research papers, anywhere. Everything is explained with that. Why we choose the mates we choose. Why animals are always looking. The female are looking for the best genes. That's why they want the males to fight with each other to see who's more powerful. And the males look for the most nurturing genes. Everything. Even happiness. Even altruism is explained with this theory. Because for preservation of the species, or perpetuation of the species, we need to be kind to each other because we need to coexist. So everything is based on that principle. In Richard Dawkins' words, the great radical atheist, he says in his famous book, it's called The Selfish Gene. The selfish gene. The gene itself is selfish because all it cares about is me, 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 and how am I going to perpetuate myself? How am I going to spread my seeds? So Schopenhauer, based on that, takes it to the logical conclusion. He says, okay, if that's the driving force, so let's get rid of all the smoke screens, and as unpopular and uncomfortable it may be, a relationship is actually a myth. It's all about getting male and female together to breed so the species can continue. And animals have it right. They do it efficiently, and that. Human beings have evolved into mutations, that's what he calls it, and it's a mistake of evolution. It turned into something that it should never have become. A whole process called courtship and romance. You know, by elephants or other animals, they don't need to say, hey, you want a drink? Or let's hang out, let's go to a museum, a movie, and all that, how much money has to be spent, and all the aggravations and all that. Is she interested in me? Is he interested in me? You know, the whole thing. They do what they have to do. They go through certain maneuvers, and that's it. Very efficient. The human race, we've turned this into a whole thing. Trillions of dollars. And the illusion, in his words, an illusion that we really care for each other. He says that's evolutionary trick to get two people basically to breed. And it became very inefficient because humans, their minds evolved too quickly. Their pride, they can't accept that there's just two bacteria mating. And they've turned it into a whole thing. And romance and flowers. Like that ad, that city, one of these credit card ads, where you see a woman gets a bouquet of flowers, and on top it says she's thinking, was it love or was it the miles? You know? So it's a whole process, and you all know everybody goes through it. And he basically says, let's shatter this illusion called romance and courtship, because that's not what it is. It's basically the species needs to perpetuate, and humans who are mutations have distorted the whole picture. Now, I'm sure you would agree, not very romantic. You probably don't want to say this at a date. It's not a great pickup line. Hey, you want to breed? You know? But that's essentially what he writes. And obviously, as he makes it clear, no one's going to advertise this, because humans, that's exactly the point. They don't accept this version. But it is the prevalent theory, and you ask scientists, they will say exactly right. But again, it's not popular to put it this way, so it's packaged a little differently. It's packaged differently. Okay, that's one model. Let's talk about the Torah model now. The Torah model, like a stark contrast, complete contrast, says it in a few succinct sentences in the beginning of the Bible, the beginning of the Torah. And what does it say? That God wants to create an entity, a creature, in God's image, Tselem Elokim. And then the verse continues. So God created Zachar Nekeva Bara Isa. Male and female, he created them. And then, so initially they're like androgynous creature, male, female. And then God split them into two, male, female. And this is the secret to sexual attraction and love. That they're drawn to each other. They leave their families and their homes. They're drawn to each other to reconnect to the other half, so to speak, so they can reconnect with a divine image, which is only possible when male and female join together as one flesh. And then, as an addition, completely unrelated to this first point, God blessed them, they shall have children. That this sacred union will bear children. So, completely antithetical to the familiar stereotype that Jews are all about having children. It's the exact opposite. That's the evolutionary theory. It's all about perpetuation of the species. In Jewish thinking, in Torah thinking, love is an end in itself. The mere fact that two people join together is the most divine act we can do. Love is the kiss of God. And the embrace of male and female is the embrace of what we call soulmates, to reconnect to that higher unity. And there's serious and far-reaching implications of these two models, which I'll address in a moment. But think of this model. You tell me what resonates. Now, I know I'm biased. Obviously, I'm coming from this second model world. But you check it out yourselves, and it's pretty obvious what resonates, what we'd like to embrace. I can't prove that Model 2 is better than Model 1 in a scientific way, but it sure feels better, and it sure makes our relationships far more meaningful. And I would be very uncomfortable to have to tell my children that, hey, we're just breeding, and I don't really love you. It's just a perpetuation of a species. I don't even think, and we all would agree that it's not even healthy. So that alone tells you if it's not healthy, then maybe it's not real, if that's the attitude. So here we have two models, and here are the implications. Model number one, the key thing is, it's all selfish. It's all about me. Model number two, it's the exact opposite. It's all about you, because it's transcendence. I can't become greater than myself if I just perpetuate myself. But if I have another part, and both of us together need each other, and both of us complement each other, and both of us connect to a higher transcendent reality, only when we're joined together, then it's about me becoming greater than myself. It's a very different reaction, very different way of looking at love. Love is about giving, about learning to become greater than yourself, not becoming more of yourself. That's one key difference. And there are others as well. So, you will probably remember the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Very popular. Everyone laughed. So many resonating little anecdotes. But it also had a lot of stereotypes. It was a little too entertaining for my personal taste. But there was another book later written, and I recommend it. It's by Deborah Tannen. It's a series of books, actually. How Men and Women Communicate. Men and Women Talk. It's a lot, that really a different level. So I'll just share with you one thing, which is very interesting.